Churchill gathered the cabinet around him during the war. He said, "Do we need to raise more funds for tanks and planes and ammunition?" And one of the ministers turned to him and said, "Well, we could raise more. We could cut the arts grant." And there was a pause, a moment's silence, and Churchill turned to him and he said, "Well, what's it all for then?"
Are we on now? We're on. Morning, sorry. God, my goodness, we did a live feed this morning at 7:30. That caught me on the hop. Yeah, hang on, mate. Yeah, I'll be with you in a second. Just doing a live stream telling everybody about an event this on Friday. Good morning. Very, very, very proud to stand at the foot of Winston Churchill. Bill Watkin there spoke at our event in Barclays Tower 4 years ago alongside the CEO of Barclays, Ashok Vaswani, alongside the poet and Chancellor of Manchester University, Alim Sise, and a range of teachers, parents, children, creative carers talking about the power and importance of art and creativity. At that event, Ashok Vaswani, the chief executive of Barclays, one of the world's biggest banks, said, "This time around, in the fourth industrial revolution, we are leaving nobody behind." And we've been delighted to work with organisations like Barclays. We've had collaborations with organisations like Lego, like CassArt, like Google, and LGFL, in fact, London's technology provider to London schools, content provider and tools provider. LGFL have enabled a thing called a community lock-in that's making today possible. It's enabling me to stand here today safely in Parliament Square to give you this important announcement about an event we're doing in collaboration with our friends at LGFL and a number of organisations across the UK. Been absolutely fantastic. Only this morning I was at a breakfast meeting with the chairman of one of the UK's biggest public service broadcasting organisations, talking about the future of public service broadcasting and access to community, to content, to art, to creativity, and sharing the technology and democratising the airwaves. And that's what this is all about. This is not class war, this is not a takeover, this is not time to burn down the establishment in any shape or form. This is about collaboration, and that's very much the theme of this year for us. Last year was hashtag Collaborate Arts Connects 19. This year it's all about hashtag Collaborate 20. We want to do this together, working with partners all over the world and all over the country. I was going to click that button then, that might just record it. No, it was recording it already. Haha, not to worry. Can't get the staff around here. Everything you see today, I'm doing this as a one-man band. One person in one location, wherever that is, that's wherever you want it to be. That is the power of creativity. That's the power of imagination. And that's what we need to teach our children. That creativity is now as important as literacy. We've got to teach our kids to aim high, not that high, but higher than high. And that's what our Rocket Kids Club did last week when we launched that. We're going to tell you about that in this live broadcast. We've got some very, very important news and major announcements for you this morning, so stay tuned. We will package it up. It will be available online later on. In fact, it's live streaming now on YouTube, on Twitter, and live on Facebook. We haven't managed to get Instagram working yet, but hey, give us a break. So what do we do? What is this all about? Well, it's all about, quite frankly, let's get some sound effects back on here, shall we? There we go. Sounds like I'm in the street again, doesn't it? Gosh, I don't know what happened there. Maybe we had our microphone turned off. As I say, Churchill there talked about the importance of art and in fact how art and culture underpins our society. It makes life worth living, it makes battles worth fighting for. And we have not had a bigger battle in this generation or many generations before than the coronavirus. We were delighted to collaborate with the hashtag CoFight19 crew who did 19 days of content to give communities, to give parents, to give teachers, to give children the power to fight this virus. And as Churchill said there, our art, our culture, our creativity has never been more important. And in fact, we're seeing now how art and creativity are bringing us together on Thursday night. We're not just clapping, people are banging tin lids, they're playing musical instruments, they're singing, they're celebrating our carers. Not just those brave men and women in the front line in the NHS, but also those brave men and women on the front line in our school communities, the teachers, the teaching assistants, the head teachers, the cleaners, the cooks, the site managers who unlock, parents, governors, everybody in our schools. Today I've seen Sharon Hodgson celebrating our post workers, our bin men, everybody who's still working is playing a key role. And you can do a lot from home, and I'm sure you are, and I'm sure you're not just binging Netflix, because what we want to do in this session now is tell you what you can do every day in May to be part of the creativity revolution that the Chief Executive of the Arts Council, Darren Henley, called for just 3 or 4 years ago up there in Sunderland. I'm reminded also of the words of Winston Churchill here, who said something which keeps me going sometimes when I tread on toes or break eggs making omelettes or upset people. I have opinions, I have views, we have firm belief in the power of art and creativity and technology to inspire our kids in their learning, to create careers and fuel the economy. And we're going to need this economy jump-starting, and no better way to do that than with art and creativity. And we need art and creativity to rebuild society. So that's why this is so important. Very important at times like this that we don't look at the differences between us and political rivals or academic rivals or ideological rivals. We don't focus on that 20% at the extremes, but that we focus on the bit we have in common in the middle. And that's what we're all about. I've trodden on toes, I've broken eggs, and I apologise to everybody I've done that to, because now is a time for us to realise we are better together. Winston Churchill said, so you made some enemies, huh? Well, that's good. It means you stood for something you believe in. And Steamco, the non-profit community interest company which I co-founded with parents, teachers, artists, children, business people at my son's primary in Paddington in central London, stands for connecting kids with their art and communities with their schools. Art, what is art? Well, art could be is creativity, tools or technology, and people. The talent of creativity, the ability to express it, and the people to make it come to life. That's what art is all about. Your art could be painting, it could be photography, it could be dancing, it could be design, it could be DJing, it could be cooking, it could be coding, it could be robots. Got a robot here that we're going to be giving away on our month takeover, a £500 robot. We've got robots for £12. We're not here to sell robots, we're here to inspire, we're here to connect. It could be robots, it could be rockets. And you're going to see in this film this morning one of the most remarkable things I have ever seen in my life last Friday. Here in London, in America, and Leeds, Yorkshire, something incredible happened at exactly the same time. And we've got the film from that. For the first time we're showing that today. So that's the precursor. We'll be doing the event. We've wanted to do this event for some time now. We've done 2 events in the past. Every year we do a summer tour. We've done them for the Summer of Love Art Tour. We did a What's Your Art Tour last year, supported by the Arts Council with some support and match funding from Google with logistical support from Barclays. And this year is our #Collaborate20 year. And we're absolutely delighted to be back in Parliament for our 3rd year in a row. We had Committee Room 14 reserved, penciled. I don't know if you know, but that's the biggest room in the Houses of Parliament for a public event, other than the Chamber, which obviously isn't available. A lot of events in Parliament happen in those fancy marquees on the waterside. They're very expensive to rent. You have a minimum catering fee. If you ever want to run an event in the Houses of Parliament, here's a tip. Do it on a Friday, because all the MPs are away back in constituency, and do it in Committee Room 14 because it's the biggest, most beautiful room you could imagine, and it is free to use. I'm going to take you there right now, so excuse me a second, I'm just going to pop up there and check it out. Okay, yeah, can I just use the room for a moment, please? Is that all right? Is that all right? Thank you very much. Right. So here we are in committee. Oh, you're up here again. You got up here quick. So here we are in Committee Room 14. What a beautiful room. I mean, look how beautiful this room is. Beautiful, beautiful chairs there. Got the lovely screen. If you book it in advance, you can get there. Pop a projector in there. We've got the projector just over there. The projector's set up just here, and we've got a screen over there. And we had a very, very special day here last year. We had an event where families, communities, children came from all over the country, and that event itself was inspired not least by one very, very special young lad. It came on the back of the Elton John film that I'm sure you saw he made with John Lewis.
It's a little bit funny.
I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was his art. And I saw that film, took it off YouTube, put some subtitles on it about the importance of art and creativity, and put it back on YouTube, and Elton John retweeted it, had 50,000 views. So I went on a 2-week tour of Britain, After launching a tour in Cardiff, in Sheffield I was given a Lego train set from John Lewis, which reminded me of the train set my dad gave me when I was a young lad. And I gave it to a lad on the Seacroft estate, Macaulay, who'd put his hand up in an assembly to talk about science and art and STEAM. And we sent that train set to him on Christmas Day. It was a very emotional session, and much love to his family for sending that photo. But for us, it said one thing. It said the importance of art for all. As I said earlier, art, the powerful combination of creativity, tools or technology and people, is the right of everybody to express themselves. Cavemen did it with red paint on their hands. In the Renaissance, they did it with paint and with sculpture. And here we are today doing it with code, doing it with paint, doing it with cardboard, doing it with our imaginations, whatever we feel we need. And I was delighted to see Elton John come out for the third time last year. Obviously, he's come out as a proud gay man and done amazing charitable work for LGBT and AIDS charities. Incredible man, together with his husband, David. But what was really special was when he came out the second time as a dad, when he went on record saying that my children have changed my life. I understand the value of life now. I've had all the money in the world. I've bought presents, I've bought houses, I've bought art, I've bought clothes, but my children mean everything. And he's retiring from the rock and roll business on the back of being a father. Unbelievable. But as I say, he came out a third time. Elton John spoke on Classic FM at the end of last year, having discovered that art and creativity are at risk in our schools for various reasons. Some say it's down to government policy, aspects of government policies, the narrowing of the curriculum for whatever reason. But I believe, and we believe at STEAMco, that the greatest reason, the greatest threat, existential threat to arts and the culture in this country is ignorance. Ignorance is a strong word, so let's just say lack of awareness. Lack of awareness by many parents and teachers of the importance of art and creativity to drive academic achievement for young people and to engage them with their learning, to create careers and create jobs and fuel the economy. £130 billion a year was contributed to the UK GDP by the creative industries last year. This year it's going to be next to nothing, and the Creative Industries Federation are doing fantastic work to campaign for the right for the arts and creative industries in this country to receive appropriate recognition and support. Otherwise we will lose it. And they've done an amazing campaign about a world without art and without culture. And the third thing for art and creativity, of course, is connecting communities, and that's why it's so important for our children. So for Elton John to say that, and Elton John said in that interview, I'm going to do something about it. I think it's appalling we're losing art and creativity in schools. So he said he's going to do something about it in 2022 when he finishes his tour. Well, 2022, we can't wait that long. My kids can't wait that long. Your kids can't wait that long. Their kids can't wait that long. So Elton, we call you today. We call on you. We've been speaking to your legal teams. We've been speaking to your management team at Rocket Entertainment. We call on you today to support this campaign to call for art for all. Please, please, please do support us in that campaign. Fantastic work. Elton John's been such an inspiration. I'm reading his book at the moment, Me by Elton John. Not one for the faint-hearted. A few toe curling moments in that. Certainly not one for the kids. But yeah, check that out. An amazing, amazing, inspiring man. So, as I say, here we are in committee room 14. Just a year ago, we were here with that lad who you just saw get the Lego train set. He came from Leeds thanks to LNER and a very generous donor who paid for a hotel accommodation and to support that family to come to London. We got free tickets for a musical. And this is the little lad here. Let me let me get my head around this. Yeah, if I press that, that's going to do that, isn't it? There we go. Here he is in the Houses of Parliament last year. That is Macaulay with his own self-portrait. Macaulay came down with his mum and his sister Karen, his mum Karen and dad Gareth, and his sister Kaylin there. They had a wonderful day at the Science Museum because Macaulay, his dream is to be a train driver. He came to Parliament with that Lego train set and shared it, and to see children playing with a Lego train set in the Houses of Parliament truly was a wonderful sight. We had a wonderful time on that last day at the Houses of Parliament. Lovely Caroline here from Bubbly Maths made lovely art sculptures with balloons. We had guest speakers. We got ukuleles out and we played the ukulele. It was a genuinely joyous occasion, and that's the vibe. That's what we want to recreate on Friday this week. Kids made rockets. You can just see the rocket catching and taking off there. And some people even brought their knitting to do as well. Creativity, the art of making, the creative industries, absolutely fantastic. And of course, I managed to say a few words and talk about what we were aiming to do and achieve. We had 200 people in the room that day. It really was truly fantastic. Really touched and very special to have one of our collaboration partners from the Poetry for Grenfell Tower group, who've published a book of poetry talking about and demonstrating so passionately the power of art and creativity to connect a community at the time of the greatest crisis and personal strife. We were utterly blown away and delighted to be able to include this wonderful man, Charlie Phillips, who was the photographer to the Grenfell generation, the Windrush generation, who was the photographer to the Windrush generation. He took photographs of the first families coming off the Windrush boats, settling in West London and across the country, the wakes. He's done fantastic work celebrating wakes and funerals to celebrate those rich, culturally rich communities. We were stunned by two things. Charlie Phillips, one of the most well-known, most recognised artists in the world for his photography. I'm sure you've seen this picture before. He's not been recognised in the Queen's Honours. He has no MBE, CBE behind his name, and I know he'd accept it willingly if it was recognition of him and his community and his culture, regardless of aspects of the honour system that he or many may or may not agree with. And we don't want to focus on those details. Let's focus on the bit we have in the middle. But Charlie Phillips said to us that he'd never been in Parliament before. He'd never been invited into Parliament before. So it was very, very special to be able to take him in that day and share that experience with him. So absolutely wonderful to have Charlie there in Parliament with us last year, and I'm very confident he'll be with us again this year to celebrate creativity. At the end of that event, oops, that's not the one I want, is it? What happened there? Okay, not to worry. Make it up as I go along. That'll do. There we go. Look, here we all are outside Parliament last year with great big posters that we've printed as part of a campaign. Fantastic campaign that we created with this man, JR. JR is a French street artist who won $1 million from the TED Talks people for his photography, for his art, for taking photographs of communities and celebrating them with the world. And that should play. Why isn't that playing? Come on. There we go. So this is an example of JR's work. He did a TED Talk about his photography and how his art is being celebrated and used all over the world. A true inspiration. And we were delighted when JR accepted our campaign as part of his Inside Out programme of work. We have been asking communities to fill in these templates, to draw a heart on the logo here, rather like my t-shirt here, and to send those in, and we will print them as posters. We have printed 1,000 of these posters in the past. It's worth bearing in mind. Now, who have we got there? We've got people from all over the country. We've got fantastic Susan Coles here, who's the art criminal from Newcastle, Sunderland, South Tyneside, North Tyneside, just connects the whole communities and the whole country with her work. Fantastic work from Susan. And we've been fly posting those posters all over the country, as you see here. And what we're asking today is for people who want to come to the event on Friday to download this A4 template from our website, draw a heart in it just like this. So if you draw a heart on there like that, or cut it out or collage it, obviously I'm not going to spend an awful lot of time doing it now, and then there you go, and I've done it in green, which has a rather interesting flashy effect. So download that, take your photograph, send it in, tweet it, share it on social media, hashtag I Love Art, UK Art Takeover, and then you could send it off and get it printed on a great big poster. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Great big poster like this one that Charlie Phillips did. And if you want to save a little bit of money and get 3 or 4 of you on at the same time, here's a lovely family from the Tabernacle Art Centre with Charlie Phillips. We met there with him, And they've all got their I Love Art logos as well, and they're a fantastic family from the community down there in Portobello. I think they're a bit of a Portobello radio family, so shout out to Piers and Greg for helping make that happen. But we had thousands of those done. We haven't got the budget or the time to get those done by JR now, so if you want to do posters, it's very, very, very straightforward. Here's what you need to do. So basically, the first thing, if you want to do an I Love Art poster, is to download the template, design your logo, colour it, draw it, do whatever you like, take a photo of it, and then send it to be printed. Now we've set up with a printer who can print A0 posters that big as me and as big as most of you, I'm sure, for about 19 or 20 pounds. And if you get the photo to them by midday, they will get it back to you by midday the next day. So if you need these, if we want these done for Friday afternoon, you'll need to do them by midday tomorrow. We've got the link on the website, but we'll do a full little video on how to upload it and how to do it. And you can even get yourself some I Love Art stickers as well. And we'll print some I Love Art t-shirts at some stage, but we haven't managed to get the website sorted out for that. So we've all been in a little bit of a panic, as I'm sure you can imagine. So we want to see you holding up your poster saying that you love art. You or your family or whoever you're with, make these posters. Let's tweet these, let's share them and get them all over the world. So that is, as I say, the Parliament launch in a nutshell. We want you there. We want you to be a part of it with your art. So we have 100 free tickets for Committee Room 14, 100 free tickets. So go and grab one now on our website. We have to try and make some money to cover our costs because all our work got cancelled. We have no grant funding at the moment. We've applied for an Arts Council emergency grant. All our work for the next 3 to 6 months has been cancelled. I have no income. So if you are able to support this, then we'd be very grateful. We have 50 tickets for £5 and 50 tickets for £10 to help make some money. But we are not doing this to make money. Everybody will be able to be part of this event for free. So please don't think this is purely a money-making exercise. It absolutely isn't. But I do need to feed my family if we can possibly. So the other thing is you can watch the event from home because we're going to be live streaming as we are today on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and hopefully Instagram as well. But more to the point, we have 2,000 free tickets for you to join us outside in Parliament Square. As you can see here, we're absolutely delighted that we've managed to get a great big video screen to set up in Parliament Square there. And we've got a grid marked out with 2 metre spaces to ensure that social distancing measures are observed so that everybody can see this on the big screen and feel like they're there. And if you can't get to Parliament Square, well, don't worry, because we're going to stream the whole thing to you live and direct in your home as well. So you can be a part of this. And if you want to speak, then you can speak remotely. You don't have to come to London to speak. In fact, most of the speakers, in fact, all the speakers are going to be Skyping in between me and you. So that is the UK Art Takeover, the Parliament launch this Friday. We hope you can join it. We hope you can be there. It's all about art and celebrating our creativity. That's the UK Art Takeover launch. So what is the UK Art Takeover all about? Well, it's all about travelling around the country to connect everybody with art and creativity. You've just heard about the Parliament launch there. The Parliament launch is going to be happening this Friday, as you just heard. The 7th of May, we're part of a global project, the Global Cardboard Challenge. If you remember Kane's Arcade from a few years ago, then he is doing a global cardboard challenge, getting everybody in the world to make things from cardboard. And we're delighted to be part of that as the UK representation. We did it with him 8 years ago when he did his first one. We were delighted when he joined us live in our Art Connect show a few weeks ago, and we're talking to them. So that's next Thursday. That's the first big event we've got going on. We've got a Creative Careers Day with Academy St James up there in Bradford on the 23rd of May, which is going to be a fantastic day, talking about the jobs and the career pathways for young people in the creative industries and the educational choices they need to be making both at primary and secondary school. We were very disappointed to see that the Hay Book Festival was cancelled, so we're going to have a Hay Kids Book Festival with a community up there in Hay on Wye. So that's going to be the weekend of the 22nd, 23rd of May. And we have a programme of UK-wide pop-ups as well and a whole weekend festival. So let's look at those in a little bit more detail. So the Global Cardboard Challenge, as I say, that's the 7th of May, next Thursday. That's with Kane Monroy, who's this little lad just here. He made a complete amusement arcade out of cardboard 8 years ago. And the whole of LA only came to see it once. A filmmaker, an art activist, told everybody about it, and they went down. It was just fantastic. And he's launched a global thing. Every year, they try and get 1 million people making things out of cardboard. This year, it's happening next Thursday, and we're delighted to be a key partner on that with them. We're hoping to do an educational technology conference. We're hoping to do something with our friends at LGFL. We're waiting to confirm details on that. We'll be doing something, some shape or form, but they've suddenly been working and asked to help the government roll out a national programme of information technology and tools and platforms and content for the schools across the whole country, particularly the young people and communities and families who don't have access to technology. It's all very well everything being on the internet now and on the web and conference calls, but many families do not have the technology. Many families are struggling to feed their families at the best of times, let alone now. So LGFL have stepped up to the plate, and they're working very, very closely with the Department of Education on a fantastic project to digitally enable and equip those families, and we're delighted to be in partnership with LGFL. In fact, LGFL have sponsored the whole community lock-in that you're experiencing today. We're so grateful to John and Bob and the team over there. Absolutely fantastic. 23rd of May, we'll see us go to Bradford for Academy St James. We had a fantastic day there a few years ago where the whole community literally took their I Love Art posters. Mr Tolston there had a go on my megaphone, and they spelt out the most wonderful image, most wonderful sight as they flipped these posters over. They created a piece of art which we called the White Heart of Yorkshire, to represent the white of that poster, to capture the vibe of the white rose and how the white rose of Yorkshire has evolved to be a white heart. An organisation, a school, a community with art very much at its heart. And we were delighted to do that project with support of the Arts Council, the National Lottery, and a small grant from Google, which was part of a 3-month programme of work to celebrate and ask the question, what's your art? So after that, we're going to hit the road. We're going to hit the road between the 9th and 16th of May as part of the Get Creative at Home campaign with a whole range of UK pop-ups. So we're going to be initially in Edinburgh and Cardiff and in Derry in Northern Ireland all next week. So those will be events next week. And then the week after, as part of the UK Get Creative at Home campaign, we're going to be visiting this places you see on the screen here. We're going to be starting in Cornwall, down in Bude. We're going to go up through Somerset in Glastonbury. We're going to pop down and see our friends down there on the Isle of Wight, where we did an art takeover recently. Fantastic down there. Hopefully catch up with people like Graham Andre, Rob the Bank, and the amazing people down there at the Art Gallery in Newport. Just wonderful. We're going to go up to Leeds and see our friends there at the Seacroft community and Parklands Primary, led by Chris Dyson and Leanne Burkett, the family there we're working with. Up to Newcastle to see people like Carol Allen and hopefully Steve Bunce and our friends in Tyneside, hopefully North Tyneside Learning Trust, see if we can get Kerry Ellis involved in that as well. So it's going to be fantastic. And we are only just announcing this, which is why a lot of people are thinking, hey, he's coming to Newcastle, they're coming to Liverpool. Gosh, we are making this up as we go along. But it'll be nothing without you and your art. So please bear with us and please help us make this happen. Please get involved. Don't sit back, sit forward, get involved. This is not a time to talk, it's a time to walk the talk. I'm delighted that we're going to be going back to my hometown in Ludlow, where my mother and father started a holiday play scheme for kids to paint and create 30, 40 years ago when I was at university. They're not artists, they never considered themselves creatives, but they were people who wanted to make a difference. They were MAD, M-A-D, making a difference. And I'm proud of my parents. And if you're watching, Mum and Dad, this is for you. One love, you stay safe there. I know it's very difficult, but stay with it. We're off to Liverpool, we're off to Oxford to see Ed Finch and our friends down there in Oxford. We're hoping that Count Skylarkin might get a few tunes out, a few of his mini discs that he inherited from DJ Derek and played with us in Camp Bestwell last year. And we're going to go to Brent, the London Borough of Culture. We're going to do a whole day in London, but centred in Brent, hopefully at the Granville Community Centre, where we did a fantastic event at the end of last year. Brent, has literally had the rug pulled from under its feet. It had a year of programmed of events, all funded by the Mayor of London and the Mayor of London's culture team, and it's all been refocused around online. Very, very difficult times for that community, and we're going to do everything we can to help and support them. Even though we didn't manage to get a grant, not to worry, let's move on. So, what's going to be happening in these UK-wide pop-ups? Well, every day in every town on all of those 14 visits, we're going to be starting at 10 o'clock with a live show in our Rocket Kids Club. The Rocket Kids Club is a safe place we've set for parents, for kids and their creative carers to be inspired, to create and to share what they create. So at 10 o'clock, we're going to have an hour-long program talking about theme of the day. We're going to give a creative brief to the kids to make or do something with their creative carers. And it's worth noting their creative carers might be their parents, might be an older brother or sister, there might be an auntie or uncle or grandparent who may not be in the room. And we've been working with a fantastic granddad up there, Grandad Pete, up there in Liverpool, who was collaborating with his 3 grandsons via our platform last week. And he's very, very generously helping us build a social media platform. So we're going to have our own Facebook-like platform where communities and kids and parents and their creative carers can get involved and be safe and create, share and be inspired. Just going to be wonderful. We're looking for 100 people to join that project, and that's going to be starting next week. We're going to be getting recruitment going on that, and we'll be doing a Rocket Kids show every single day of our UK tour. So that'll be 14 Rocket Kids shows looking at different things: coding, robots, making, painting, drawing, dancing, ukulele, human beatbox, DJing. All these things, a different one every day for kids and their creative carers, because it's just amazing when you see this stuff and you realize how accessible it is. You've got to see the film. I'll show you in a minute actually of a mum. We sent a rocket kit up. Within an hour they'd made a rocket. We hadn't even told them how to do it because we were talking about something else, which is obviously something I'm very good at. And they made a rocket and fired it in that time. So that's what we've got to do. We've got to inspire, we've got to connect. We had a wonderful time last week on our launch. We had our first Monday. We launched the Rocket Kids Club last week. On the Monday, we were down at Cape Collaboration, where we saw a rocket being launched, and there was a whole bunch of people standing to one side, kind of watching that from a very safe distance, much safer distance than we were, I must admit. So that was Cape Collaboration for the launch of the Rocket Kids Club last Monday. We were absolutely delighted when this mother came online, Leanne and her son Rowan, because she had made a crane for that boy using pieces of wood and an electric drill they found in the yard. He wanted a crane, his mum made him a crane. You've got to see it to believe it. It was just wonderful. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday, we were absolutely delighted, was World Creativity Day. And we had a world exclusive on that day where we were joined by the Professor of Creativity, Professor Bill Lucas, who is co-chair of the OECD PISA committee looking at creative thinking, creative testing, creative evaluation, a league table to evaluate countries and school systems around creativity. They've already got them for literacy, they've already got them for numeracy, which we weren't doing very well in, but we're doing a bit better. But the whole education system in this country seems to have been spun around those 2 league tables, and here's one around creativity. So our message today, and Professor Bill Lucas's message last week, was to Gavin Williamson and his team at the Department of Education, that he hopes that they will embrace this league table as well as much as the literacy and numeracy league tables, to enable this country to thrive and celebrate and showcase the creativity that has made Britain great. Day 3 last week was World Box Day, believe it or not. The day before was World Creativity Day. It was World Box Day on Wednesday. And we were delighted to actually be allowed into an Amazon warehouse where we saw robots buzzing around, shifting all these cardboard boxes around. We made amazing things from cardboard boxes. I think my robot's disappeared at the moment. I made a big robot and we made lots of super things out of cardboard. And then Thursday, the funny thing about World Box Day, we were told about it by Grandad Pete in Liverpool. And then halfway through the day, it turned out that he'd actually invented it himself. So he'd invented World Box Day, which was fantastic. So we thought, why not? So the next day we declared it Thursday World Loo Roll Day. And we actually went to a loo roll factory. It was just an incredible place to be. And it reminded me of my granddad when he started shelling beans and peas in a tin bath in his backyard in Thetford in Norfolk. An ordinary working class man. He shelled a few beans and peas. He bought some tin cans, put the beans in these tin cans, hammered the lids on and started a canning factory, literally. And 20 years later, he was the manager. He wasn't the owner. He wasn't rich. I don't think he was a director. He was the general manager of one of the UK's largest canning factories in Thetford, just by the river, which, funnily enough, was on the site of where Burrell traction engines used to make steam tractors and steam locos, steam engines. So just fantastic serendipity there. And at that factory, my granddads, they used to have ladies, and they were ladies with hairnets on, sitting either side of a conveyor belt, not unlike that one, picking out the black beans, because nobody wants a can of beans with a black one in. And what really struck me looking at this Lou Roll factory last week was there's no human beings there. It's all run by robots, always one at the back, one person just minding the machine. And it really reminds me of my granddad and that factory and those women, and how there won't be women picking out black beans now. They'll have a robot doing it or a camera system. And that's why we think robots are so important. That's why we think things like JD are so inspiring, because we need to inspire and connect our kids with technology and robots, not to be robot engineers, but to understand how they work, to understand their implications, to understand how to code them, and to be able to problem solve and work in collaboration with robots, because robots are nothing more than just a rubbish piece of plastic, really. They're nothing without our imagination, our skills, and our people. And that's why we believe that robots are an important part of our mix and why we celebrate the art of robots. So, next Friday, on Friday, we are going to be, as I say, down in Parliament Square, and we launched the whole thing. And I don't know, I just said that. So we launched the Rocket Kids Club with this film last week. We showed how we're firing off rockets, how we travel all over the country with the Rocket Kids Club. We showed how inspiring it is for these kids, and we talked about this Rocket Kids Club, a place for kids and creative carers who don't just aim high, but who aim higher than high in life, so that they can be inspired, create, and share. And that's what the Rocket Kids Club was really all about. So, Friday we launched that with my friend and local artist and our artist in residence, Malumba. We had a fantastic day last Friday. Action Jackson turned up and did some fantastic motivational stuff with his guitar. Just a wonderful guy. I'm hoping he can join us in Parliament. Mamta Singhal, who's former Young Woman Engineer of the Year. We saw some stuff that we've done with her. She's one of our ambassadors for the Rocket Kids Club. Amazing woman. She's been a toy engineer, a chocolate scientist, now works in a food processing factory environment, well, not environment, but company, rather like the one we saw making loo rolls a moment ago. We had the amazing music teacher Jimmy Rotherham from Bradford, who was shortlisted for $1 million prize a few years ago by the Global Teacher Prize. So he came on and showed us his human beatbox. We had Dennis from Easy Robot there in the US, who makes that robot. He came on the show to talk, and he actually donated a £500 robot, which we're going to give as a prize to a school community at the end of our month of May UK Art Takeover. We're going to work out a competition so that you can stand a chance to win one of those robots. And we were delighted also to be able to include a video message from Lord Martin Rees, Baron Lord of Ludlow, the Astronomer Royal, one of the most inspiring people in the world of science. Just an incredible man. And we hope that, Lord Rees, we hope you're safe. We hope you stay well, because you are beyond national treasure, because that sounds patronising. You are one of this country's biggest brains and most generous and inspiring people. And we do hope you stay safe and do stay well. So wouldn't be a launch of a Rocket Kids Club without the launch of a rocket. So we got a dad in. Dad's rockets are a match made in heaven. We got this chap in, Ed Finch, who is a teacher in Oxford, who runs a thing called Brew Ed, which is an organisation for grassroots teachers to come together in pubs on Saturday afternoons to share their insights, to look at what they have in common, not the bits at the outside. And Ed is certainly a budding Elton John fan like all of us, and he played Rocket Man for us, which is wonderful. But more importantly, he got the chance to meet one of the most inspiring people, one of the most generous people that we've met and come across on this journey, the man who wrote this book. A Story of Four Boys, Rocket Boys, by Homer Hickam. A story of four boys who didn't want to be coal miners. In 1957, they were in a dead-end coal mining town. They looked to the sky and saw a silver dot. It was the Sputnik satellite. It inspired them to learn to make rockets. And with the help of their mother, their community, and their teacher, and eventually their dad, who finally caved in to all this nonsense of making stuff, They ended up making a rocket that went 6 miles high in the sky and ended up working for NASA. And we were delighted on Friday to have Homer Hickam live on the screen, live from the USA. There he is, bless him, amazing, generous man, incredible brain, incredible insight. And we connected him with a family, with Leanne Burkett up in Leeds, and with a family, Nina and her family, in Westminster in London, live on our hashtag community lock-in system. And I'd like to show you what happened. It's quite remarkable.
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition
8,
sequence
7,
start.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Can you see that?
Oh, wow.
Can you see it? Whoa!
I know, I was just... Look, it's busy.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
So yes, absolutely delighted to announce that Homer Hickam has agreed to be the patron of our Rocket Kids Club, a safe place online where kids can be inspired, create and share, where kids and their creative carers can come together. They may be in their family, there may be people in other communities who are safe and vetted for them to collaborate with, because there are loads of people who want to share their creativity in this country who don't have kids yet, or whose kids have left home but they still have a lot to offer. Not dissimilar to the Granny Cloud system that Professor Sugata Mitra set up for grandparents in England and the Western world to mentor and inspire children in third world countries over the internet. Just wonderful use of technology, and that's art. Art is the combination of creativity, technology and people. Absolutely wonderful there, and thank you so much to Leanne and the boys there, and Nina and their families, and Chris Dyson in Parklands Primary for making that video possible. We launched a rocket in London and it landed in the backyard of a school in Leeds. And over the UK Art Takeover, every day we go to a different place. We're going to fire a rocket from London. We want to see it land in the backyard of a home, of a community, of a school, of an art centre, a factory, a cafe, whatever that's safe across this country. We want you to make rockets and make them land wherever you are, because that's how we spread the inspiration. That's how we share the love of art, a passion for putting creativity first in all our schools, in our work and our lives. This is one virus we do want to spread: the power of art, creativity, technology and people. So every day we're going to be launching a creative brief. So on the cardboard day, for example, the cardboard tube day, for example, we made rockets out of toilet rolls. That's what some people did, and some people made little castles out of toilet rolls. But there's a whole load of stuff, and that's what we want to be doing. We want people with kids, without kids, to make these things and inspire, because you make something with a toilet roll like that, you could still inspire a child somewhere else in the country, in the world, even if you haven't got one, because we're creating a platform and a channel for your creativity to inspire thousands of kids who may not have parents or connections or families who can do that for them. So that's at 10 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, we're going to come back and we are going to review the work that those children have produced. So we're going to look at it and get some of them live on the show. So get them live on air. This is a fantastic chap, actually. We had a guy on the show last week who makes these Lego Rubik's Cubes robots that can solve Rubik's Cubes. Just absolutely wonderful. So then at 3 till 5 o'clock, we will have the Art Connects show, which is a weekly show we've been doing, which will be celebrating, showcasing, inspiring creativity in schools, work and lives in the areas we visit. So if you're in a cultural institution, a council, an art gallery, a school, you run an art club, you do coding, you like fishing, you make model railways, we want to hear from you on that show. And you'll get the chance to Skype in live on our show, and we'll create a magazine television programme as we go with you calling in. And we've done 3 already, and they've been fantastic, and they're all on our website. So that's 3 till 5 p.m. every day. We've had amazing teachers like this. This is Mrs. Darlington. She's a primary art teacher, and she did the Art of Loo rolls the other day. We're hoping to get her back. So wonderful, wonderful content being generated there. At the end of the month, there you go. Look, that's the art that she was doing with the toilet rolls. Just fantastic. Sort of bunny ears. It was just before Easter she did that. And then we're going to be doing the finale, the grand finale. We're going to be doing an Art of Community Festival. A big art community festival. We're going to be doing a complete takeover of a festival weekend, a Friday, Saturday and Sunday, the 29th to 31st of May. This is us at Camp Bestival. We're going to recreate the vibe of Camp Bestival. We're going to get people like Jimmy Rotherham in to do dance workshops for the children. We'll do ones for the early years, for primary. We'll probably get some street dancing for older kids. Here we are on main stage at Camp Bestival last year, where Jimmy played a Chic medley and Sister Sledge medley, which is fantastic. It was great. I actually met Nile Rodgers and Sister Sledge later that day backstage. It was wonderful. It's going to totally celebrate creativity. We're going to have free prizes. This is a family last year that won a Pi-Top computer, so we're looking for prizes like that to give away every day on that tour and on that weekend festival. They won that coding system, which is absolutely fantastic. We've already been offered prizes from Lego and Technology Will Save Us. We had their CEOs on and directors on recently, just absolutely wonderful. And then at night time we're going to have a party, just like we do down at Camp Bestival. This is Caravanserai. We're going to do some DJing. We have got a mirror ball somewhere. Where's the mirror ball gone? Just to show you, we don't mess about when we party here. Let me get my mirror ball down. There we go. So we've got a mirror ball and the community lock-in. You show me a Zoom conference call. You show me a video conference where they've got mirror balls and smoke machines and DJ decks. We've got all the gear here. We've got DJ systems. We are not messing about. And this is the kit we're going to be showing our kids how to DJ on and show them how to use technology to create and not just consume. Going to have a fantastic time. And on the Sunday, because where I live, we've had street parties, and it was fantastic to go to the Eden Project recently and see Peter Stewart, who's one of the directors of Eden Project, talking about the big lunch. And his photo, and his first photo in his PowerPoint, was of my street party, our street party here in Paddington in London. So on that Sunday, the 31st of May, we're going to have a little big lunch street party as part of the Art of Community Festival. And it might just be you in your street, it might just be everybody, but as long as it's socially distanced and safe and responsible, we want to see you online. We want you Skyping in from your street party into our studio. We're going to celebrate your creativity. We're going to have a truly, truly fantastic time. And there's a photo of a street party we had a few years ago, and it was socially distant. I don't think enough people came. That was early on. And here's my lovely neighbour as well, Deborah, who features in the photograph, which the Eden Project use quite regularly to promote the big lunch. So we're hoping that we can collaborate with the Eden Project on our street party that Sunday as well. But obviously they're very busy and have got other things to do. So that's what this is really all about. It's all about creativity and travelling the country to see communities all over as if we were there. And we'll be travelling in various technology ways and various car ways all over the month. So Parliament launch, Global Cardboard Challenge, Creative Careers Day, Hay Book Festival, UK pop-ups for 14 days, and then that weekend festival. The weekend festival will be a collaboration with creative carer organisations like the Brewed people. Darren and Ed have agreed to be partners on that. We've got them and Graham Andre helping on the education side and to get teachers involved. But it's not about teaching for teaching's sake. It's teachers and parents and everybody sitting together to share and inspire. Teaching us how to be our children's teachers is probably an objective for that part of it. We're going to get Tofu from Caravanserai, from Shangri-La and Glastonbury and Caravanserai at Bestival to get involved and help us out and do some DJing. We're going to get everybody involved in this. It's going to be a true creativity collaboration. And we really hope that you'll join us. We hope you'll be part of this event as we celebrate creativity, as we start to reconnect community, as we find time for our art.
I don't care if the robots do the dirty, the dangerous, the boring jobs. What we've got to make sure we do in school is educate all of you to have the skills to do the jobs that the robots won't be able to do.
Everyone was in awe of it, that you talked about the importance of literacy and reading, and you inspired them. That's exactly what you did, and that's what we want.
You're raising the aspirations of those children, you're giving them possibilities, you're making their dreams come true.
The kids have thoroughly enjoyed it, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and we've learned so much.
Nick Corston, now you're doing a fantastic initiative, bringing creativity back amongst young communities.
You said it yourself, Jamie, we're about art. Art is whatever we do that connects us to somebody else.
That's a great way of describing art, actually. I've never heard it described. Yeah, I've never heard it described like that. I mean, art is just something that touches other people, isn't it? It's just about creating, isn't it? It's great, and at these times, it's like you say, it doesn't matter how good you are. It's just about creating, isn't it?
I mean, the Arts Council, they've launched a 10-year strategy a couple of months ago, and it's all about creativity. It's all about let's create, empowering people to make something. It's about putting paint or cardboard boxes or computer code or even some DJ decks or a camera in the hands of kids and saying, you know, aim high. What can you do with that? Is that something you might be able to make a career out of, make some money? Is it something you might be able to make the world a better place with? Is it something that might help you in your learning? And that's what it's all about. But it's not just the kids. We've got to connect communities with those kids to inspire them. Do you know what I mean?
Well, fair play to you. Congrats. It looks really, really good fun, mate. And listen, Nick, good luck with it.
So there you have it, the UK Art Takeover. Parliament launched this Friday. I've got a bit of packing to do because I've got to get a whole load of these Art Time boxes. These are what we call Art Time boxes. And we sent our first one out last Friday to Leanne and the kids up there in Leeds. And it contains everything you need to get creative with your kids. You've got the rocket making kit, you've got some colour crayons there, which we've sent from Cass Art. In the bottom here, we've got a book. We've got a Rubik's Cube, we've got a BBC Microbit to do some coding with that, and we've got one of these super little Edison robots as well. So we're going to be sending those out. We're going to maybe sell a few of those if anybody wants to buy one, but when we'll have time to package those up, I don't know, but we'll have to get all those out in the post today, so everybody gets those for Friday. And that's what this is all about, the UK Art Takeover. We want you to be part of it with your art, the 1st to the 31st of May, starting this Friday with our Parliament launch event, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. So basically, just in a nutshell, this Friday, 3 till 5, Committee Room 14 at the Palace of Westminster, 1st of May, we're having this event, 2-hour event with people talking and commenting and sharing thoughts across the board. We want you to be part of it. We want you to get your I Love Art posters printed up. We'll put up information on the website. The basic information is there now, but we'll give a step-by-step instruction on that shortly. And then the tickets, be sure to get your tickets. We've got 100 places in the room. We've got 2,000 outside. Grab a ticket. If you can chip in a few quid, then we'd be very, very grateful for that, because we do need your support. We do need some financial support. We're hoping to hear any day if we've got an Arts Council grant, so fingers crossed for that. But we also need, that will only get us through the 1 month. We want companies. We've got one organisation, LGFL have been our first sponsor. We're looking for 5 more sponsors. So we're going to be asking people like Google, Barclays again, if they can help us again. They've already been very generous, and we've seen that they're already doing an awful lot, but we do need support. So if you know anybody, any organisations, any creative people or organisations, we call them creative carers. People who care about creativity, our children and all our futures. We need those people to step up and help us with this project now. The UK Art Takeover. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. And don't forget the Art of Community Festival at the end there with our partners at Brewed. The inflatable's just been delivered. The screen was set up and tested. That all works. So we've got the connectivity. The UK Art Takeover. Be part of it with your art. As I said, I've invented most of this as I've gone along this morning. I threw the PowerPoint together at the 11th hour. I've just about got the tech working. I'm pleased with how it's gone. I hope you are. I hope you'll support us. It might not work. It might not work. It might not work. But here's the thing. Oh. So why doesn't that want to play? God, it's going so well. Ah. How annoying.
It might not.
What's the work there? Hang on then. Let's have another go. Right, come on.
It might not work, but here's the thing. The guy who invented the ship
Thanks for listening.
also invented
See you
the
on
shipwreck.
Friday. Go to
And
the
either you're
website,
in or
sign up
out.
to speak.
Either you want to play this game or you don't. Art doesn't work because we did something conventional and predictable, and here it is industrialized, right? Art works because we connect.
So the festival that we will be organising in 2022 is a festival of creativity in its broadest sense. So what we're looking for is events that will help to bring people together and show the value of art.
Debate like this is absolutely overdue. Being from a working class families where we've never had access to the arts.
I think this is amazing, and we should encourage Nick to do more of this so that we can connect friends through art. Is actually amazing.
Well, a lot of schools have taken music out of their curriculum, and I find that really important.
This book is going to change lives. There are 7 stories.
Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion. Please keep doing what you're doing, inspiring the kids. I think it's great. Not enough parents spend enough time with the kids. They leave them on the iPads and things like that, and I absolutely love it. Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion.
Again, boys will be boys. Better let them have their toys. Girls will be girls. Cute ponytails and curls. Must put an end to this stress and strife. I think I want to live that sporty life.
I'm going to make it happen for you, Nick.
I appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to make it happen for you because what you're doing is, in the end, absolutely brilliant.
I had the idea of getting a big screen to come here and celebrate. And I did a thing called a crowdfunder. I said to lots of people, I only gave myself 24 hours, and they said, you'll never do it.
One time for the Lord.
Art and creativity is absolutely everything, you know, to secure the jobs for the future.
Niall, what does collaboration mean to you?
For me, collaboration is everything. So my whole life is a collaboration.
I think that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. If you have, I hope you'll be part of it. I hope you'll speak. I hope you'll come. Yeah, thank you.